All right, today we're going to talk about sugar. But not just any sugar. We're diving deep into their secret molecular life. And trust me, it is way more fascinating than you might think. So let's get right into it. First up, let me ask you something. What did the sugar you put in your coffee, a glass of milk, and even the malted grains used to make beer, what could they possibly have in common? I mean, they seem totally different, right? But on a chemical level, they all share a really important secret.
And that secret is, they're all powered by these incredible molecular pairs called disaccharides. That's the scientific name for the sugars that give these foods their sweetness and, more importantly, give us a burst of energy.
So what exactly is a disaccharide? Well, the name kind of gives it away. Di means two. It's a carbohydrate made of two single, simple sugar units, what scientists call monosaccharides. You can think of them as two little sugar molecules holding hands, and that special connection, that handshake between them, is called a glycosidic bond.
So how does this pairing even happen? It's actually a pretty neat bit of chemistry. When two of these single sugars get close and form that glycosidic bond, they actually have to kick out a molecule of water. It's like they're getting rid of a little extra baggage so they can click together perfectly. Okay, so now that we know what they are and how they're formed, let's meet the main players. These are the big three, the celebrities of the disaccharide world that you probably eat all the time. Here they are. First up is maltose, also known as malt sugar. It's just two glucose units stuck together. Then we have lactose, the famous milk sugar, which is a combo of galactose and glucose. And finally, sucrose. Yep, that's just regular old table sugar made from glucose and fructose. Now, look at that bond type column. Those little codes like alpha-1,4 and beta-1,4. They might seem random, but they describe the exact way these sugars are linked. And that detail becomes incredibly important in just a minute. Hey, did you catch that little note next to sucrose? Non-reducing? Now, I know that sounds like some boring chemistry term, but believe me, this tiny detail is absolutely crucial. It completely changes how this sugar behaves in the world and in our bodies. Here's the difference. For sugars like maltose and lactose, one end of the molecule is chemically free. It's like having a free hand that can reach out and react with other things. That makes them reducing sugars. But with sucrose, it's different. That special bond it forms locks up both of the reactive ends. So both of its hands are tied, making it way more stable and, you guessed it, non-reducing. So we've seen how they're built. Now for the next part of their story. What happens when we actually eat them? Well, it's time for the great molecular breakup. And this is the most important rule of sugar digestion. Your body cannot absorb a disaccharide directly. That pair of sugars is just too big to pass from your gut into your bloodstream. To get any energy out of it, your body absolutely has to break that bond and split the pair back into two single sugars. So how does your body do this? It uses these amazing, highly specialized tools called enzymes. You can basically think of them as molecular scissors. And the system is incredibly specific. You've got an enzyme called maltase that only snips maltose. You've got lactase, which only snips lactose, and sucrose, which only snips sucrose. It's a perfect one-to-one system, and it all happens right there on the wall of your intestine. This brings us to the clinical side of the story, because when this perfect system of molecular scissors doesn't work quite right, well, that's when sweet can definitely turn sour. And the most famous example of this, something I'm sure many of you have heard of, or maybe even deal with yourself, is lactose intolerance. So what's actually going on here? It's really simple. The body just isn't making enough of the lactase enzyme, those specific scissors we need to break down lactose. Without the right tool for the job, the lactose travels through your gut undigested, and that's what causes all those, well, uncomfortable symptoms. It all comes down to the shape. That specific bond holding lactose together is like a really unique lock, and the lactase enzyme is the only key that can open it. It's a perfect lock and key system. So if your body doesn't make enough of the lactase key, that lactose lock stays shut. No key, no digestion. But digestive problems aren't just about what our bodies are missing. Sometimes, the issue is simply having way too much of something, especially when we're talking about sucrose. Yep, a high intake of sucrose, our everyday table sugar, is linked to a whole bunch of health problems. Because it's so easy for our bodies to break down, eating too much of it can totally overwhelm our metabolism. Over time, this can contribute to things like obesity, insulin resistance, and of course, the one we all know about, cavities. So after all this chemistry and biology, what's the one core idea to hold on to?
It all comes back to this simple number, 2. The fact that disaccharides are always made of 2 single sugars is the key to understanding everything about them.
And here is the main takeaway for today. The exact nature of that pair, which 2 sugars are involved, and the precise type of bond holding them together, that's what determines everything. It dictates whether we can even digest it, how our body uses it for fuel, and the ultimate impact it has on our health. It's all in the details of the pair.
So the next time you sweeten your coffee or eat something with milk, just take a second to think about those billions of tiny molecular pairs you're consuming. Knowing the secret life of these sugars, how might it change the way you look at your next meal?